here, and you can all see that side too. Yeah, I only have one pointer. So if you look at this, you will see here, this is the sensory part, meaning this is the vagal nerve. So 80% of the information of the vagal nerve is coming from the body upwards to the brain. And only 20% is going down from the brain to the body. What you see here in purple, that's what they call, so the vagal nerve has a ventral part and a dorsal part. The ventral part is going in engagement, the social engagement nerves with your environment. And you can see here that they go through the heart area, and the red is going here into the part below the diaphragm. So that explains that when you sometimes go in a freeze, and I don't know if you already have had that experience with your clients, but when somebody really starts to release an imprint, even bowels can release everything just in a split second. I don't know if you have had that experience, but that happens. That's because the innervation runs that way in our body. Now, the vagal nerve is not the only nerve that is involved when we are dealing with the polyvagal theory. To be able to get socially engaged, we use our mimics. Yeah? So connected to the system are the innervation of the facial muscles. It's also the innervation that has to do with being able to masticate, I think, no? To bite. It also has to do with the larynx and the pharynx, so how you talk, how you pronounce. Because if somebody, I don't know if you have that experience, but if one of your clients is really experiencing things, you will hear that the sound of their voice is changing. The melody within disappears. And it's like you get more a robotic sound. You even can see the face change. It's like they get stiff. And then you know that it's not the social engagement part that's talking to you. You know that it is the dorsal part of the nervous vagus that is talking to you. So all of them are involved also with trauma, and another one is the part that's connected to the ear. People who have been traumatized have huge difficulties when they are in an environment with a lot of noise to listen to what the other person is saying, simply because their innervation system is trained to be alert for danger that is coming. So it takes out certain sounds. You can also have it when you're sitting in a car and you're driving, and the other person has music on, and the other person is talking to you. But if you really want to listen to them, you have to switch off the music, because otherwise you're not able to listen to what they're saying. So what you see here is a schedule that you also have in your transcript of the conference, and it is made by Babette Rothschild, and it states the different stages that you go through. So as you can see here, in green and in blue, is what she calls normal life. You are in contact with other people, you're thriving in that way, and sometimes you get alert, but you're able to go back and forward. Yeah? There's nothing static about life. Life is all about movement. Only when you have an argument with your boss and he's not listening and you can hear his voice change, then you get more in this stage here. So you will get in a fight and flight mode. If you go further then from the sympathetic nervous system, you already can get here in a small freeze, or you want to escape. And if you're going further, then here again, you are preparing to die, meaning that the dorsal vagal nerve is going to be active, and it will try to freeze you in an attempt to save you. Now I'm going to take you, oh, you already hear it in my voice. You hear it change? Yeah. So I'm going to breathe. You're going to experience now what your clients are experiencing, and that's why I wanted to show this to you. I'm taking you back to 2006. The person you see here in this picture is again my son. He's not even an hour old, newborn, 23rd of April 2006. And a nice looking guy is my husband. I had just given birth, and it was my third one, so I ought to be experienced. But I had quite some difficulties, and I couldn't pinpoint what was wrong with me. So, when you give birth, you have this overload of oxytocin coming to you, and you want to connect. So, what you don't see here on this picture is that for already 7 days I got appendicitis, which is life-threatening. But when you're pregnant, it doesn't show up as a problem. It's very difficult, and I've heard it over and over again for doctors to make that diagnosis. So I was wrong diagnosed 3 times. What you don't see in this picture is that 4 days later, I ended up in hospital, and I had an operation for 6 hours, in which I had a near-death experience. Meaning that on the chart that you saw from that Rothschild, I even went a stage further than her map goes. And when you've been there, life changes forever. Because you have felt this unity with everything in the universe. And it's actually like that. You really feel connected. And you have to make a choice. You continue, or you come back. I have made that choice consciously. Otherwise I wouldn't be standing here. So I came back, only to discover that when I woke up in hospital, I truly thought that I was dead. I really thought I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And after a few hours, it ended up to be the light in the parking lot outside intensive care. So when people started coming in, and wow, you know, you feel so great to feel that you're still alive. The physician came in and they had to check up with my lungs to see that I would not get water on my lungs and get more complications. And he asked me to blow in a device to see how powerful my breath still was. Well, I have done sports forever in my life, so for me, in my head, it was a piece of cake to blow that all up. But I wasn't able to do so. And that's when the next hammer comes around and you start to realize that I had no connection anymore. So, to reconnect, I did what I was best at. I used reflexology. I couldn't reach my feet, of course, but I used my hands. And through talking, through my hands, communicating with reflexology, I could feel the inner state of my body. That's why I wrote a book about it, because I want to share how valuable it is and what people can do with it. Now, being in that hospital in intensive care for 4 days, it is a mind and body job. It is working, it is bringing your focus onto what you want and getting away from what you don't want. And it's very challenging because we just have given birth. And the only thing that you want is to be with that little person that you've been carrying inside of you for 9 months. But being so small and having the possibility for infections in a hospital, he wasn't not allowed inside. So it's not only that you have to focus on getting out, it's also that you have to do this emotional management, literally, from the inside. Because each time when I would go into, oh, I miss him, I really could feel an energy drain, and I didn't want to go that way anymore. So I had to picture something else in my head to focus and to get this uplifting emotion to make sure that my body would react to that, and that would make sure that I would get earlier out of hospital. They told me that it would take a month to recover. After 6 days, they allowed me to go home. And for me, reflexology has been a major support to what I call a faster healing process. Now, I have been experiencing a low level of energy for more than 12 years, and I still couldn't understand what was happening to me until last year. And here you see me being with, or having this cap on my head with all the sensors. I have read a lot of literature to understand, and I've been to a lot of people to assist me through my process. And what I learned is that it is, of course, the therapy that they're using that is helping you, but at a certain point you get to a level where you cannot continue with somebody because their consciousness level is also not of such, how should I say, it doesn't match the needs that you require. So I heard that some people literally shop, but sometimes you need to shop because you need more than one person to get to a level where it is needed for yourself to get healing. Now, I read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, from Bessel van der Kolk, and he talked about brain training. So I went to this lady and she recorded my brain activity, and she was the first one who really could bring all together for me. Basically what she said is that my brain was still thinking that I was in survival, meaning that each time when I got to a certain energy level, it would say, stop. It took me 3 years to be able to run 3 kilometers, simply because my body each time said, there's no energy, there's no energy, there's no energy, you have to stop. So it's only on willpower that that was possible. And what she said too was that the filters on my limbic system, they were shut down. So everything that was happening in my surrounding, I could sense. That's why I didn't like to be around with a group of people anymore, because I could sense everything. Well, I did the training, and I know I don't have that much time anymore, but I want to show you this. What you see here are the different levels before and after. So what you see here is going from deep delta to high beta, which is actually gamma, and these are brain waves. Are you familiar with brain waves? Yes, you are. So you can see here that in high beta or in gamma, I have too much activity in my brain, which indicates that my brain is looking all the time to connect certain things, and it doesn't know how to handle it. That's what you also can see here. There are too many connections here, and there is hardly something there. This is after 6 sessions. What you see here, that this reduced, and this popped up, meaning, you need to be able to read the charts, meaning that the deep levels within my brain were starting to redirect everything and to change the structure within my brain. I'm going to tell it to you in a different way. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you still know where you were 9/11? Yes? Okay. Do you still know where you were 9/11, a week prior to 9/11? A week after? Yeah? Those who know, they were on holiday or they were doing certain things. Yeah? And that's how our brain functions. When you encounter something and you match that with a very strong emotion, we have an imprint. I'm sorry for that. I'll continue my explanation. When you have an experience and it matches a very high emotion, it makes a very deep imprint in the brain. They say what fires